All right, Sir Knight, I see we had no intruders over the evening. Good job. Go ahead, take a break. I'll be here for a while. Hey y'all, Shark Scrapper. Well, one of my BNI members brought this in to the meeting. So this guy owns a floor cleaning service. He said he's done fixing this thing. It's broken too many times, and he said it's had a good long life. It is time for it to go find another life somewhere else. So we're going to go ahead and break this bad boy down. Now you can clearly see there's some nice insulated cable on there, insulated wire. Let's go ahead. I think there's going to be a real nice motor in there. So let's dive in and see what we get from this. So our screws are in pretty bad shape. This one looks completely rounded. This one's well on its way. We'll get a little blaster in here, make it a little bit easier when I go to unscrew them. I'm not even sure if that one's still there. As you can imagine, these things are around a lot of dirt, moisture, wet dirt, moisture kind of stuff. So I'm sure that a lot of the ferrous components are pretty well rusted up. All right, so the plastic top busted off. It was very brittle and it just busted right off. I was able to take out two screws, two bolts holding the motor from the top. So now we need to go around to the bottom. And we've got the motor is connected to this drive wheel for the, and there's a belt there that drives the disc. There's a bolt there. That might be what's actually retaining. Let's see, we've got a bolt there, and a bolt down here. So those might be what's retaining that motor. But I may also need to get this shaft out of the way. So we'll see what we got to do here. Step one, get some blaster in there. All right, that motor was 26 pounds. So that's pretty sweet. And it might come apart to get the copper out of it. We'll see. Now then, put you here for a minute. All right, let's see what we're going to have to do to get you to come apart. Let's try giving it a whack and see what happens. Apparently that bolt needs to come out. So I'm going to hit it with the blaster, and I'm going to let that blaster work on it a little bit while we see what else we can attack. Set you over there for a minute. Now, that wire here, this wire is running up the handle to the control section. So let's see what the control section has to offer here. All right. There's screws there. Those are rivets. Okay, that's just a metal plate. And then the wire is down in there. And pull that wire up out of that pipe. And we've got this wire going through here. That's a crimp connection. So, let's see. Get the rest of it out. So we'll get the rest of the cable out of there. That's brass. I don't know if you can see that that's brass there. We'll get the cable out of here. We'll get that brass. Here's the rest of this cable. That's a brass washer. And we've got a switch here. That switch might have silver contacts on it. It appears to be held in place with a nut. So we've got the nut loose. There we go. So this switch, you've got this switch inside there is probably a silver contact. We've got some, you look brass. Are you brass? Yes, you're brass. Let's go ahead and bust into that. Ooh. There's a nice little dollop of silver on that one. And the corresponding one has some silver on it. So those will go in with the silver contacts. Unfortunately, that's not stainless. So that's all shred. But there was an aluminum piece. Loud noise. Now then, that is aluminum, this part here. So, I don't think that is, I think this is just an adjustment screw here. I don't think you're holding anything in place. Ah, I see what's going on here. We've got bolts inside of the inside there. Are you also 7/16? No, of course not. Time to dive into the nut bucket. Nut bucket! Because the 1/2 inch was too small. There we are. Look at that! Alright, that's a 9/16. I can't believe I grabbed the right one right up front. That's awesome. Okay, and I need... What are you? Nope. I got these nifty adapters because I have these sockets of all different sizes, so that helps. And that socket is so deep that I might be able to just get in here like this. Let's see here. Yep, get out of there. Cool beans. Now then, I think this is all aluminum. Let's see, wait a minute. The center has some steel in it, but this is all aluminum around the outside. This plate is steel. So, so we just need to get in here and bust out, if we can, bust out that centerpiece. If we can't, then this is going to end up in breakage. But hopefully we can get this center retaining piece to come out. Hopefully. But you all don't need to watch me do that. If I come up with anything interesting while I'm doing that, I'll let you know. Otherwise, it's probably just going to be pretty boring. Alright, now the rest of this is going to be shred. This is plastic body, this is all shred. There's another steel plate underneath of the body, so yeah, that can all just go in with the shred steel. Let's see what on our motor now. Ugh. Nice little 1/2 inch nut there. And the we gave the buster good time to, or the blaster, time to work on it. So that got that out of the way. Now, maybe. Well, something still doesn't want to play. It does not appear to be doing anything of any value. Ha ha ha! Oh, I love it when I bang on shit long enough that it, excuse me, when I bang on stuff long enough. Hey, wow, look at that. So we've got some brass plates here, and those would have been slip rings going across the motor. And then we've got all the wire. So we'll cut out the wire, we'll cut out the brass, and then we've got the aluminum. Disappointing. I'm very disappointed, but it doesn't surprise me. You can see that the copper wire is coated with epoxy or some sort of, yeah, that's relatively hard, so that's probably some sort of epoxy. That does not surprise me because of the nature of this device. As a floor buffer, it would have been, you know, they would have anticipated that it would have been getting wet and stuff getting up in it, and so they probably did that as part of the design. So that's just going to go as a motor. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a screwdriver by the toe that doesn't want to play. Let's see now. These screws are really jammed in here, but as you saw, there's a couple of tricks. You can give them a whack. That frequently helps, because what will happen is when the ferrous screw gets into the aluminum housing, over time they'll get a little corrosion, they'll get locked up. Give them a little tighten screw, tighten, and then an untighten. That frequently helps, as we saw there. Okay, now, all that coming out of there, we've got some sort of connector thing here. There we go. Aha! Dummy. You saw the nut on the other side and you didn't even think about it. All right, there we go. And that's aluminum. Nice big old chunk of aluminum there. Let's get that one screw out. All right, I'm gonna hit it with some blaster. We'll let that blaster work on that a little bit. All right, I think I can report to the guy that gave this to me what was going on. This junction box thing is all melted inside there. So that had apparently overheated and started to melt out. That's probably what the failure was, because I didn't notice any other obvious failure mechanisms. So I'll let him know that that's probably why this failed. All right, get some wire cleaned up here. Yeah, that's all bubbled up. That's all bubbled up in there, so that would have been what failed. So while I cleaned the brushes away from the copper wire and the brass rings here, let's just do a quick little thought experiment. The real value here was the motor. Now, there were a couple of nice chunks of aluminum, and they were relatively easy to get to. But was it worth the time for me to bust into the motor to get the brush ring off of there? Maybe I should have just left the motor the way it is. Of course, the reason I'm asking the question is because I'll probably get more of these from this client, and I have to decide in the future, how much effort am I going to put into these? What's my most efficient payback for scrapping these things out? Now, this was the first one, so I was taking my time going through, seeing all the piece parts and stuff like that. But in the future, what should I be doing? I appreciate your thoughts and comments down below. To what level of scrapping should we be putting on these buffers, floor cleaners, when we get them in the future? All right, everybody. I had a great time busting into this buffer. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up on your way out. The links that are popping up are taking you to more scrapping videos, and the round one in the middle, that's for subscribing if you haven't already.